Hello, everyone, and straight from the CEO World Record studio here in Lithuania, me, Laura Garritz, is presenting Alex, who is the president and the CEO of STIRIXIS group that is internationally renowned and awarded holistic business solutions. That's how I would call delivering kind of service in more than, I believe, around 30 countries right now. And Alex and I, we met at the CEO Clubs Network. I believe it was in Dubai back during pandemics. Since I know that you guys, Alex, you and STIRIXIS are all about systems thinking and kind of disrupting the future of work and doing so many great impact-driven things, I thought you truly deserve to be invited to this exquisite world record. So let's go ahead. You're so welcome. Alex, what should we know about you as a human being, and what should we know about STIRIXIS?
Well, I don't know where to start from. I'm a civil engineer by education. I have a master's degree in civil engineering and an MBA. I'm married to Elena, who is my better half, as I said, in business and life, and we're sharing our endeavors together, and we have 3 daughters. And we are traveling the world. As you said, we've done projects in 29 countries, and we're trying to bring what we call true prosperity to our clients. So we're trying to optimize their businesses in different sectors, hospitality, retail, workplaces, different kind of projects around the world, by integrating systems thinking and giving them a sound platform for growth and sustainability through strategy, design, execution, and evolution. So, in a nutshell, I'm not sure if I said that too fast.
No, you said it brilliantly. I love the depth of that, and and the entire kind of that's how I see it, right? The entire end-to-end process of taking your clients by the hand, from the idea, from the concept, all the way to the fruition of that idea to reality. So let's go now to our question of the world record, which is like really important. So the question is, how is the world better off because your company is in it?
That's a very difficult question, and I need to answer it without being arrogant. So I need to be humble as well. I'll tell you what we're trying to do, and hopefully we have an impact. We have a positive dent in the ecosystem that we operate in. We're trying to change the mental model and make a shift in how people think about tomorrow. We have grown in this Western part of the world thinking very analytically, which in a very complex environment such as our world today is a dead end. What we're trying to do is, if I may use the word, educate people. And again, I'm trying, hopefully it doesn't sound arrogant in that sense. Educate people in this shift of mental model to understand that we need to treat our lives, whether that's business or our social life, or together, because they are, after all, one, in a more systemic way, and understand the impact that the elements that our life consists of have to each other, and how we should treat this system and optimize it as a whole, and not try to do it analytically. Every time we try to do something analytically, I'll tell you I will give you a very simple example. So they call us, for example, last month, not last month, 3 months ago, from India, and we're currently doing a project for a retail fashion chain of 900 stores, mostly in New Delhi. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea was, how do you design the ambience and how do you design architecturally the chain of stores? But the truth is that this is one part of a system that has to do with what the chain is, what the brand is, what the values are, so the strategic part, who the customer is, so the external super system, who the competitors are, um, how you manage the growth, which has to do with logistics, it has to do with finance, it has to do with HR, how you walk the talk from everything you design in terms of strategy to the contact uh, points, to the touch points with the customers. And unless you understand how truly complex this system is, there is no way that the result will be sustainably successful. You can have a firework result and be very satisfied with what you have created for a year. But if you don't make this uh, optimization systemic, you don't allow the company, the brand to grow organically and self adapt and self optimize during the next years, evolve in something which is dynamic and can be versatile and agile and thrive through this constant change. Unless you do this, whatever you have created will have, you know, what we used to call a concept life cycle, and accept that it will
Mm-hmm.
slowly die, which we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we are trying to do, to come back to your question, is to explain to people that um, the world has changed very much. It keeps changing in an exponentially faster way. The problems we're facing are complex, and unless we shift the way we see the problems or the issues and we find solutions that are equally, if you want, um, efficient in adapting to this change, that's the only way to move forward.
Mm. I loved a word evolve organically. And that's, that just covered it all. And I can just simply imagine the the speed, dynamic, and complexity. When I visualize India with how many there were stores, like 800 or something, and
900 years.
your people, I mean, their company, all the suppliers and the entire logistics and clients, it's you can't control it in an analytical way. I mean, as you say,
I agree.
it's just not possible. And where my mind is right now leading to, and thank you, by the way, it's just such a profound impact and so much needed. And when you say that, that you want to be humble and not too arrogant, I would say, you deserve to like really be proud of what you do, guys, because we've been so blueprinted to to live by answering ourselves, what's the worst case scenario, and manage risks and prepare for the worst, and control in a linear way, that we get, as I say, so hooked on that narrow like identity. I know for myself that when I get hooked on this 3D identity of mine, there is a lack of creativity and everything else. So I believe, yeah, it is important to kind of come back to the understanding that we are part of nature, and that, yeah, we can literally um, see the system as the whole and respect all those interactions. All right. So going back to the question of impact and the and change. And that's what you do, guys, right? Like you are helping people to, the way I would call it, to shift the identity of, of 3D reality, as I would call, right? And shift it to something that is more whole and that is more organic, that is less based on fear and more based on trust. So the question which I have, like, more for you, Alex, as a human, and it comes from my own experience recently over the last 2 years, when I was like really resetting down and going back into myself. There was a moment where I felt, and it was so strange, like in the same moment I felt that I am everything and nothing, I am like anybody and somebody, and that there is time, there is no time, and I'm brave and I'm vulnerable at once. And I remember that when that moment hit, I kind of got like kind of scared, like what is happening? And so the question for me is, have you ever experienced in your life, through all these years of you leading STIRIXIS, that you felt the moment where you suddenly got detached from your different, like from your own identity, and you understood that at one moment you can be somebody, and at the same moment nobody?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is extremely important, and there are a lot of ways to see it and explain it and talk about it. I think part of this has to do with how we view time, because we are present today, and we matter. And the whole idea about changing the world that you said is about our legacy, and it's much bigger than we are. And we are in this timeline. If you extend it and you view it in a much bigger sense, then of course we become irrelevant. And the whole idea about legacy is how you can become relevant and how you can actually make a change that will outlast you, because we are vulnerable. We have an expiry date, unfortunately, or fortunately for that. And the whole idea of making a change is, again, not in an arrogant way, but in a way which is very healthy. If you think about it, it's how we move the world forward. If we don't think about how we move the world forward, our life will pass, and we will not have actually, given any true benefit or any added value. Our legacy is how much we can, from our viewpoint, from our short life period, from our small or bigger ecosystem, make something that overall, together with all the others, will make the world a better place. And this is something that I know drives you as well, and it drives us as well. And we're trying to make the world a better place. When we talk about clients, it's not about clients, it's not about business only. And that's why I said about our social lives, it's the same thinking underlying our family values, our business values, our social network. It's about, as you said, sometimes being fearful, but in a way that you manage it to understand and move forward to the unknown that tomorrow is, but with a positive way. So, of course, tomorrow is unknown. The whole idea is, how do you move forward in a way that you can manage that uncertainty to create something which is wonderful.
Mm, mm. Wow. Piano drop, as I say. No more words needed, you know. All right. Yeah. And I have other questions for you as well. Now, STIRIXIS, could you remind Alex how many years you are in the world?
We started in 1996. We've
Hmm.
been through a transformation of our own, um, partly because of adapting to the market needs, partly because of different disruptions that we faced. Whether that was a huge disruption, which was we started in Greece, by the way. So our origin is Greek. We faced, we transformed from construction to design, from design to strategy, and from strategy to evolution, because very soon we realized that whatever, as I said, we create, unless you do it in a dynamic and in an organically changing way, it's only temporary. It becomes very fast, obsolete, and irrelevant. So after we formed the way we work, we decided, and it was a very good, actually, coincidence, if I can say that we should work globally.
Mm.
And in that sense, we moved to stop the part we were doing construction, and we moved to work to many different places. And it saved us because at the same time we had the huge financial crisis in Greece, and it gave us the ability to hedge and to move to other places and find interesting opportunities. And it actually gave us a very good understanding, because having worked in 29 countries, what we have gained is the true, if you want, advantage of knowing different cultures, of understanding different cultures, of appreciating the uniqueness, but also the many common traits that unite us, and understanding how this complex world is a very, very wonderful multicolored puzzle that at the end of the day has to be made more functional and more efficient than it is today. So we've worked during the financial crisis in all these countries. Then we had another disruption, which was COVID, and then international market was gone. You couldn't travel, lockdowns everywhere. We had to find ways again to reposition what we do, work a little bit digitally for the markets that were not in lockdown as well. But overall, we've worked for 27 years now, and we are very happy that we keep on doing things which are for our clients and for us really important, and we enjoy what we do. We love what we do, actually.
Yeah, and it's totally seen in you, you know. I even, you know, through LinkedIn, I see that you are beating like in oneness with your impact. But let's go now into the, you know, let's outpour that bottle of brilliant wine, which is 27 years of pure wisdom of Alex and the entire STIRIXIS group. And could you, again, there is no right and wrong. I mean, we all, you know, are experimenting in this world. What I want to tap into it is to like download from you the rituals, kind of the business rituals you do with a team, maybe with your wife as well, you know, who is your better half, and as well helping you out, like, and supporting in business, with your leadership team, with clients, with suppliers, and those in that holistically kind of driven system, ecosystem. Like, yeah, what type of rituals help you guys to like to stay anchored to that oneness of the impact you are unfolding, and not kind of lose yourself for fear, or if, you know, suddenly the client is, I don't know, you know, telling you it's now or never, give me, it's the deadline, you know, but you, and you know that it's wrong decisions they're making, it's, you know, based on the consequences rather than the root cause. So Like, what type of rituals within your business help you, Alex, to stay anchored and not lie for yourself? You know what I mean? When we kind of, I know how I feel when I lie for myself. It doesn't taste well.
That's a very interesting question, and it has different parts. It has the rituals that you said. It also has different sides from our clients. I will tell you about how we work first of all as a system within the company,
Hmm. Sure.
because part of the challenge of leadership when you're facing an environment that is changing very fast is to really provide the agility that you need for the whole team to change, to adapt, to to move forward in an aligned way. And this is very difficult unless the whole team is on board and the whole team shares not only the vision but the understanding of the context within which this vision must be achieved. So it's
Mm.
about sharing the values, which is the core element of who we are, about sharing the vision, which is the core element of where we want to go, but sharing and understanding and having a common understanding about the environment, about what each of us learns, and creating this unity that you said in a way that we remain as one when we need to change fast. This is extremely difficult and it's extremely important. And it's a huge challenge because it also requires a lot of time. And
Mm.
time is a very scarce resource. So, what we're trying to do is balance all this, keep our team. We have 35 professionals at the moment. I'm very proud of the team we have. We're trying to share all the knowledge that we gain from different markets, from different projects, and bring that into a truly learning organization in a way that we all evolve together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is what we're trying to do. So we're trying to evolve all our team, to advance all our team together, so that no one is left behind, and so that when we have to take a decision fast, it's a decision that it's understood. It's a decision that everybody's on board and everybody will work happily for and be invested in. So this is what we do in terms of the team. We have many forms we're trying to do that. We have retreats, we have quarterly meetings, we have a lot of lessons learned meetings from each of the projects we have, or even trips. We share photographs and information about the trips and the culture. So this is part of what we're trying to do internally. When it comes to clients, as you said, um, you can't win them all, first of all. There are
Mm,
some
that's
clients that
wonderful.
will not be onboarded 100%, but we're trying to build, as I said, a same understanding. And I think that we have done that because we have turned a lot of our clients to very good friends. We have created a community for our clients, which we call emergence, from the emergent values that are produced from the
Mm.
way we work. And we meet with all our clients together in events, and we try to introduce them one to each other to build relationships which are not only through STIRIXIS in a concentric circle, but in a true matrix from people that have a common understanding and share the same values. So this is how we're trying to. I don't know if that answers
I
your
love
question.
that. I love that. Yeah, yeah, you did absolutely, Alex. And I have a couple of questions, like going deeper into the way you work with a team. Like, do you guys, I don't know, do you still like use org chart? Do you use some type of, KPIs, like in a more disruptive way, in a more like holistic way, in a more counterintuitive way? And if you could share some of that.
Um, yes and no. So I'll tell you what we're trying to do.
Okay.
We're trying to balance the required structure with the required creativity and qualitative approach and human approach, which is mostly non structural.
Hmm.
So we do have, as a business, KPIs.
Sure.
We're trying to structure the core of the way we work in a way which is controlled and safeguarded. But the way we move forward is much more fluid.
Hmm.
The problem with working in a very structured way is that it's perfect for the moment you design it. But when you're
Yeah.
trying to build an organization which is truly agile and fluid, every time you add a structural element, it makes the organization more rigid.
It does.
And in the days that we're living now, this can be a huge problem. So, what we're trying
Hmm.
to do is create, I would say, the minimum structural elements that safeguard
Yeah,
uh, the company. But the way we move and the way we operate, we're trying to keep it a lot more fluid.
I see.
So that's
That's so
that's how we're trying
interesting.
to combine the best of both worlds.
Yeah, yeah, I see that absolutely. And thank you for, now I understand better what do you guys practice and these type of things. And let me think about another question because I have many of them. Yeah, are there any ways? Because I know that you are very much into the change, and I am into the change, and everyone else who will be onboarded here will be into the change. But are there moments where you realize, just simply in a daily life that you are aware that suddenly you stand in your own way of growth? And if you could share some of those, and what type of maybe inner dialogue you suddenly have during these moments, when you feel that you are, standing in your own way of growth. And while you think I can give my own example, because it's very much related to the country I grew up in. I grew up in Soviet Union, while Lithuania was still not free as a country, and all the Baltic states, they've been like one of the big bloc belonging to Soviet Union. And um, and when I made a decision 3 years ago that I want to go out and do our impact globally, there was this, little voice inside my head, like, who am I? Who are you to make this happen? And, it's a little country, and don't go over what's possible. So yeah, it's just an example. And I know that we all have moments when, there is this little voice making us smaller. So could you share some of that with us?
There is this voice, as you said, and there is fear a lot of times,
Mm.
and change is sometimes difficult. I'm very provocative when it comes to change. I said that 2 weeks ago, and I know that you've seen that there is no resistance to change. What I meant is that there is resistance to change which doesn't make sense, which doesn't have a meaning and it doesn't have a narrative at the end of the day. So there is a lot of fear when you change, but you need to build a narrative which is personal as well. And it has to do, as we said before, with who do you want to be? What's the impact you want to have in this world? What's your legacy? What is the reason for being? And have this as your northern light in order to guide you through difficult decisions. One of these difficult decisions, because you asked for an example, is part of what I described before. So in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
2009, Greece was heading into very difficult financial crisis. And at the moment, our work was more or less 80% construction and 20% services. So we knew deep inside that in order to grow internationally and in order to do the real work that we believe in, which is more or less strategy based, and it has to do, as I said, with how people think and how you can help them change that in order to become more successful. And we see ourselves as catalysts. So we see ourselves as someone that comes into the equation, makes something wonderful happen, but do not stay there. We move on to other places. So we're trying to build that globally. So in 2008, we knew that we had to move to a different level, and in order to do that, we had to let go of construction. Now, when you have a company and 80% is 80% of your revenues comes from a specific sector, and you say, I think we need to phase this out. Everybody says you're crazy. You're going to commit suicide. You're going to leave the 80% and try to grow
Mm-hmm.
the 20. Um, there were a lot of times when both Elena and I doubted, in a sense, that decision, because whether we want it or not, our brain creates different scenarios. Fear is one of the worst outcomes in these scenarios. But we took that decision, and we really, did our best, and it worked out in the best possible way. But we had to really um, question this decision when we were taking it, because it
Mm-hmm.
was
Difficult.
really
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
disruptive. Disruptive.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can just imagine how, I mean, it takes quite a long time, right? The transition from something that was 80% to something of 20, not only like mentally having the capacity and the space, the energy to roll out that change, without how I would say, without putting any doubts to the team and outer world, because this is something where you, as a leader, normally I would say, it's just something you cope inside. It's just inside of you, right? And yeah, I just can imagine that, how much energy that was required from you both to, you know to to feel anchored to that bigger impact and that intuition, right, that guided you towards that
Yeah.
disruptive decision and seeing your future. And yeah, amazing. Alex,
You,
thank you
you
so much. Yeah, keep on.
just one note more before we close, because you talked
Sure.
about the team and change, as we said. If you try to see this unity in the team, sometimes we're doing something which is very, very out of this world. We like people, how they think, we like their skills, and we onboard them without having a specific place for them in the company. And we
Hmm.
find the space in the company to actually use their
Mm.
way of thinking and their skills and their chemistry and what they bring to the company. And this has proven to be absolutely a huge advantage when you have to make such a disruption, because then the structure that you have built, the organizational chart, by default is not rigid. So people know that today they can do this, but tomorrow they can do something else. Of course, within the same universe.
In context, yeah.
You will not take a civil engineer and turn him into a chef,
Belly
but
dancer, right?
yeah, but still within the same universe, when you're not fixed to a position, but you are part of a system by adding to it from your viewpoint, from your knowledge, from your skills, regardless of the title you have,
Oh,
then
this is so
you can.
cool. Yeah,
It,
this is, yeah.
this has helped us survive and evolve very much.
Hmm. And I mean, this is so cool. It's something I would love to do so much because, I mean, from who I am, and spreading the wings, right, and being able um, to shift that, the professional identities and roles, right, in regards to contributing to something bigger. And it's just such a steep learning without without kind of this heavy effort to learn, because it's just happening naturally, organically, as you say. But that ritual is something we will put in a world record. Yeah,
Perfect.
thank you, Alex, for being with us. It's just
Thank
such
you
a
so much, Lara.
pleasure.
Thank you so
You
much.
just, yeah, given so much.
It's an honor.
And if anyone would love to get contacts in a contact with you, how they could do that?
I think LinkedIn is the easiest way.
Super.
You can find us on LinkedIn, and it's I'll be more than happy to meet and talk to anyone who's interested
Fantastic,
and
Alex.
share more together.
Yeah, fantastic. And give my regards to your wife and to the
Thank you so
entire
much.
STIRIXIS group. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Lara. Thank you.